We've stepped out of our freaking comfort zone quite a bit this season. We've gone for a lot more than we ever have, and we're taking a lot of risks, and everything is thrown at us constantly.
Fred Lewis has stormed back to take over Gold Rush this season. Last season, almost no gold was found, and teams like the Clayton brothers were sent packing.
Perfect, Lotto! I can feel it, it's perfect.
Well, look how even the boxes are running, guys. Yeah, very nice.
Fred was among those who left empty-handed, as Rick Ness returns and revives the excitement. The stakes are higher. What does Fred's dramatic comeback spell for the show? Join us as we dive into this shocking twist, how new dynamics could impact Rick's crew. The TV show Gold Rush has had its ups and downs. Last season was particularly difficult for some of the teams, who barely found any gold at all. Among these were the Clayton brothers and Fred Lewis, who struggled significantly throughout the season. Their efforts largely led to disappointment, as they failed to uncover any significant amounts of gold. By the season's end, the Clayton brothers and Fred Lewis were removed from the show due to their lack of success. It seems in the world of television, not finding gold means you might not stay on the air. At the same time, Rick Ness, a favorite among viewers, came back to the show.
I've got the ground open, and I need to crank this thing up as high as I can go for the rest of the season. I'm running out of time.
His return was a highlight, bringing some excitement back into a season that was otherwise marked by failures and letdowns. Now, let's discuss the mining boss from last season who caused quite a stir. His methods and decisions were often controversial, creating as much drama off-screen as on. Some viewers questioned whether his tactics were brilliant or simply careless, but no one could deny that they kept the show interesting. His presence and the conflicts that arose around him definitely kept people watching. This over-reliance on his background started to bother viewers, as it seemed to overshadow the actual mining work, which is the core of the show. People began to feel that the producers were more interested in playing up Fred's past for emotional effect than in showing the real challenges and successes of mining. This approach led to doubts about how genuine his portrayal was, with many thinking it was just a way to boost viewer numbers. This pattern of poor performance and excuses wore thin on everyone's patience. By the end of the mining season, it was clear that he was lagging far behind his peers. The viewers of the show, who had been following the mining efforts, grew increasingly disappointed with Fred's lack of results. Their frustration was vocal and widespread, reaching the ears of the producers at Discovery Channel. Responding to the clear dissatisfaction, Discovery Channel decided it was time for a change. Rick Ness came back to join the team, teaming up with Parker Schnabel and Tony Beets. This new lineup brought a much-needed boost to the mining operations. With Rick, Parker, and Tony working together, they quickly started hitting their targets.
There's a nice pond.
I know, right?
Man, you guys have been busy.
Spending a lot of money and then praying that a bunch comes back.
Their ability to effectively mine and produce gold was in stark contrast to Fred's failed attempts, which had yielded very little. Fred Lewis, having failed as a leader last season, is now merely seeking employment. His first attempt was to ask Parker Schnabel for a job. Meanwhile, in the realm of fan speculation, there's talk that Fred might find a place in Rick Ness's crew. Rick needs more workers to fill out his team after missing the previous mining season, and Fred is keen to keep working in the mines. This arrangement could be practical for both of them. However, this potential move raises some interesting dynamics. Rick Ness recently recruited Buzz LeGold, who was a standout performer in Fred's previous team. Adding Buzz was a strategic win for Rick, but introducing Fred into the mix could lead to complications. If Fred joins Rick's team, it could disrupt the group's harmony. There's a chance that old tensions could resurface, leading to disagreements and challenges among the crew members. As quiet falls, the action heads to Dawson City, where old and new challenges mix. Maya Chin's eco-friendly approach. Such a scenario isn't just a creation of the fans' imaginations. It has a basis in the current situations of the individuals involved. They might create a strong team by combining Fred's desire for employment with Rick's need for experienced miners. Yet, the inclusion of both Fred and Buzz, two miners with a shared history yet potentially competing interests, could lead to friction. This setup could either strengthen the team through their combined experience or lead to conflicts that might undermine their efforts. The outcome of this decision could significantly impact the team's success and dynamics in the upcoming season. Fred often messed up, and this season was just another example. Buzz complained to Rick that his job with Fred wasn't paying enough to cover his travel expenses. He was so frustrated that he decided it would be his last season working for Fred. If Fred switched over to Rick's team, Buzz was clear that he wouldn't follow. Just thinking about the past season's troubles made him upset. On social media, fans half-jokingly said that Buzz should be the one in charge, suggesting he should manage Fred if they ended up on the same team.
Right now, the name of the game is to get paid at the plant and to get gold in the box.
This idea was discussed with a mix of humor and serious thought by the show's followers. Dawson City, the mood was buzzing for a different reason. Jack Wildcat Dawson, a miner known for both his success and the chaos he often brought, was returning to the reality show Gold Rush. He had left the show 2 years earlier after some legal problems and a lot of public arguments, making his return a big surprise to everyone. It looked like the show's producers were trying to get more people to watch by bringing back old conflicts and controversies. The return of Jack was likely to cause more trouble on the show, which could attract viewers who love to watch the drama unfold. To some viewers, Jack is the core of Gold Rush, bringing excitement and a dynamic presence that keeps them engaged. To others, he symbolizes what can go wrong when entertainment values drama and spectacle over adherence to professional standards and laws. As he rejoins the show, he brings not only the prospect of new adventures and high stakes, but also old conflicts and unresolved issues that were never fully addressed. His return is met with both eagerness and doubt, as it could either breathe new life into the show or bring back the same problems that marred his previous tenure. When Jack came back to the show filmed in Dawson City, people were split in their reactions. Some were excited about the drama and flair he brought with him. Others were worried that his controversial ways might ruin the show's good name. The people making the show, however, were very happy. The numbers of viewers had gone down a bit after Jack left, and they were counting on his return to make more people watch the show again. The town of Dawson City itself had seen some changes while Jack was gone. New miners had come in, claiming spots and forming new groups. One of the notable newcomers was Maya Chin. She was a young miner who quickly became well known. Her careful and thoughtful way of mining, focusing on not harming the environment, gained her a lot of respect and a strong group of supporters. Maya represented a new way of thinking and working in a town that often seemed caught up in its old, wild ways. As Dawson City adjusts, a familiar face returns, shaking things up with old conflicts and new ideas. Negotiations under the spotlight. Jack's comeback was not just about returning to a familiar place. It was about the tension between his old-school drama and Maya's new, responsible approach. The situation was ripe for interesting developments. Everyone was watching to see how Jack would handle the new environment. Would he adapt, or would he try to force his old ways in this changed town? On Jack's first day back at work, the place was chaotic, more like a busy market than a film set. Camera operators and their teams tripped over one another, each trying to get the best shot of his arrival. Reporters gathered around, all hoping to get a comment from the well-known miner. Jack, always enjoying the spotlight, entered with flair. His line of heavy trucks rolled in, stirring up clouds of dust that seemed to announce his comeback. Stepping out with a grin and waving to the crowd, he shouted, "Did you miss me?" His voice drowned out the noise of the machinery. Some people cheered loudly, happy to see him, while others just watched, not as pleased. Jack's main aim was to take back control of Wildcat Ridge, the mining spot he had sold before he left, which was now owned by a big mining company. This led to a tense meeting, filmed for everyone to see, between Jack, who represented the old ways of mining, and the polished company executive who now controlled the mine. They spoke politely but with obvious tension, the company man's smooth words clashing with Jack's straightforward demands. This conflict showed a clear divide in the mining community, highlighting the struggle between maintaining old traditions and the new corporate focus on profit. The whole event was filled with drama, but it felt somewhat staged, as if it was done just to attract viewers. Jack's return was certainly newsworthy, but it also brought up important questions about how mining should be done and whether the industry was taking the right ethical steps. It also made clear the big differences between Jack's approach, which focused on personal connections and past methods, and the company's modern, profit-first tactics. While the event was exciting because of Jack's dramatic comeback, it also made some people uneasy, making them wonder if this was really progress for the mining industry or just more of the same old practices. Jack firmly declared that Wildcat Ridge belonged to him. "I'm taking it back," he stated, staring down Kyle Hartman from the conglomerate. This clash was exactly what the producers of Gold Rush wanted to capture, a perfect piece of drama between the rugged prospector and the polished corporate representative to kick off their new season. Negotiations between Jack and the conglomerate were intense. Jack, known for his stubbornness and determination, was not ready to give up his claim without a fight. The corporate side, always looking to profit, wanted a share of whatever Jack discovered in the ridge. After much argument, they reached a shaky compromise. Jack could run the operations on the ridge, but the conglomerate would get a cut from the gold he found. This deal, barely acceptable to Jack, felt more like a restriction than an agreement. Lines are drawn at Wildcat Ridge, setting the stage for a showdown that could change everything. The tension beneath the surface. As soon as the deal was signed, Jack and his team of tough miners returned to Wildcat Ridge. They were a group that had stuck by Jack through many challenges and were ready to tackle this one. They began mining with the same intense and risky methods they had always used, driven by both desperation and determination. The pressure was on from the very start, as they knew they had to produce results for themselves and satisfy the corporate demands. Jack's dedication to his work was both remarkable and extreme, driving him to push the boundaries of what was possible in his field. This relentless pursuit often bordered on obsession, a characteristic that defined his every action as he aimed to prove his worth through tireless effort. Meanwhile, Maya Chin, a colleague who had kept a safe distance until now, observed Jack with a blend of curiosity and caution. The tales of Jack's influence on both the television show and the town were widespread, painting him as a pivotal figure whose impact could swing dramatically in either direction. One sunny afternoon, motivated by a mix of professional duty and a genuine desire to understand this influential figure, Maya made her way to the excavation site. Upon arriving, she found Jack deeply absorbed in a complex and demanding excavation. He wielded his tools with a meticulous care that contrasted sharply with the intense, almost frenetic energy he exuded. From the edge of the site, Maya watched as Jack's team members navigated the area with a palpable sense of caution, each of them keen to avoid any errors that might disrupt his intense focus, or worse, provoke his displeasure. Jack, engrossed in his work, continued with a level of precision that seemed to magnify the importance of every precise movement he made. As Maya observed, it became clear that Jack's reputation for being exacting and somewhat volatile was not unfounded. His method of handling the excavation site suggested a drive that was as commendable as it was daunting. Maya's observations from the perimeter allowed her to see how Jack's commitment had shaped not just his own approach to work, but also the atmosphere of the entire dig site. The team's careful movements and the charged silence that hung over them seemed to stem directly from Jack's own intense approach to his profession. As Maya continued to watch, she pondered the double-edged sword of Jack's dedication. On one hand, his unwavering commitment had the potential to lead to significant breakthroughs and discoveries, pushing the team and the project to new heights. On the other hand, his approach came with high stakes, creating an environment filled with tension and high expectations that not everyone was able to meet. The excavation site was a microcosm of challenge and opportunity, mirroring the complexities of the town's dependence on the success of the project. The people of the town, much like Maya, looked to the excavation site with hopes of prosperity, but also with a wary understanding of the risks involved. The success of the dig could revitalize the town, drawing attention and resources that could transform their lives. Conversely, failure or disruption under Jack's leadership could deflate the town's spirits and economic prospects. Maya stood with her arms folded, watching intently as Jack issued commands and skillfully operated the heavy machinery. After a while, he noticed her presence and approached, wiping the sweat off his forehead. "Maya Chin, right?" he greeted, extending his hand. "I've heard quite a bit about you. They say you're leading the way in the future of mining." "And you must be Jack Dawson," Maya responded, gripping his hand firmly. "I've heard that you represent what used to be the norm in mining." Jack chuckled heartily. "The past, huh? Well, we'll just have to see about that." After the dust settles, the quiet struggle between old and new mining ways gets ready to surface. The battle for mining's future. Their interaction was not just an ordinary greeting, but a symbolic meeting of different times in mining. Jack, with decades of hands-on experience, symbolized the traditional methods that were gradually becoming less common, overtaken by newer, more efficient technologies. In contrast, Maya, young and educated in the latest technological advances, symbolized the new direction mining was headed. There was an underlying tension between them, a silent acknowledgement of the ongoing shift in their field. Jack's friendly laughter and relaxed demeanor concealed a slight unease about the future, an unspoken fear that the skills he had honed might soon be irrelevant. Maya, recognized as a symbol of the new era, was aware of the heavy expectations placed on her shoulders. The mining industry was demanding, and carrying the label of the future was a burdensome honor. Their brief meeting held deeper implications. It was more than a mere exchange of words. It was a subtle battle for validation between old and new methodologies. Jack represented the proven, physical, labor-intensive techniques that had built the foundations of the industry. Maya represented a newer, streamlined approach that prioritized efficiency and minimized human risk, a potential game-changer that could either elevate the industry to new heights or lead to the obsolescence of many traditional practices. This wasn't simply about transitioning leadership or changing practices. It was about determining which approach would lead the way forward. Their conversation highlighted a critical debate within the mining industry: the clash between maintaining time-tested practices and embracing innovative changes that promised a different kind of progress. The atmosphere was tense when Maya confronted Jack about his operational methods. She pointed out the environmental damage and potential legal issues he was risking. Jack defended himself, emphasizing the success he had achieved despite the risks. Maya acknowledged his ambition, but reaffirmed her commitment to following the rules. "I understand you're here to win, but I am too, and I will do it within the boundaries of the law," she declared. Jack's reply carried a note of challenge. "Well, good luck with that approach," he scoffed. "Just remember, gold doesn't follow any rules. It's nature that calls the shots here." As the television season went on, Jack's presence in the Gold Rush show was exactly what the showrunners had hoped for. His ongoing conflicts with a large mining company, his competition with Mia, and his relentless chase for gold captivated the audience. Despite the ongoing debates over his methods and occasional legal issues, Jack's ability and charm stood out. For Jack, this season was more than a mere search for gold. It was about proving himself and fixing his damaged reputation. To the viewers, this season was an exhilarating experience, showing that in the tough world of mining, unexpected events are always around the corner. They saw firsthand how the lure of gold could push individuals to the edge, sometimes leading them to compromise on values and safety. This portrayal, though thrilling, also highlighted a worrisome admiration for reckless behavior in pursuit of wealth. It served as a reminder of the real-world consequences of such actions, including harm to nature and potential legal repercussions, making the viewers ponder the true cost of gold mining. What do you think is the true cost of gold mining? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.